me! Drivers, start your engine!
Fired up when you're ready.
Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you guys another episode of Scrap Mechanic, and yes folks, today we are starting a new build. We have a NASCAR track. This is something you guys have been requesting for quite a while now, and those requests really amped up when we did the Monster Jam Arena last weekend, which by the way, we will have another part of that coming up very soon. But yeah, we're going to jump into here and show you guys what I've completed so far. There will be several parts to this series, so I'll try to do as much as possible in between, but I do want to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts on what you want to see out of this build. But remember folks, if you're enjoying Scrap Mechanic, hit that thumbs up, it helps out my channel a whole lot, and let's jump right into this. So I've been avoiding this one for a while now, because I knew this was going to be a awfully big build, and it was going to take a lot of patience. And it has done just that. So we've gotten quite a bit done here today. We're going to walk to the top of the grandstands here, which by the way are actually pretty massive. So let's walk up to the top of these, and you can see the overview of the track here. It is morely like a short track. There is no banking to it. It is a flat short track. The reason I didn't do banking was obviously that's going to take a lot of bearings, and I've seen it done before, and it is laggy, and it really doesn't work. So it is going to be a flat track. It's going to be something that I believe you guys are going to be able to use. Now, the track itself is all vanilla parts, but the stock cars that I have do use the Durf mod, but I will not have them on the map most likely, or I'll have two versions, one with them on the map and one without them. So say if you just want to play in vanilla and you just want the racetrack itself, you'll be able to download that. So those links will be in the description. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at the grandstands real quick. They are fairly big. They are kind of lower on the ends. I couldn't tell you how many this actually seats. I'm pretty sure it's quite a few. There is some backstretch grandstands too. They're a little shorter than the front stretch here. There is a suite, we'll call this like a suite tower. There is nothing in it right now. It is hollow, but I wanted to place it at the top. That way you can get an idea of what's going to happen up here at the top of the grandstands. Now up here, this is a little stairway up here. It's going to take you up to the top. And this is normally where, if anybody who follows NASCAR, this is normally where the spotters would set. So when you hear the team radios and they're talking about the cars around them, there's normally a person on top of a very high spot kind of warning them what's happening on the track and what cars are around them. So that's what this is up here. Let's go ahead and jump down to the bottom here. Now we are going to put little details in, like probably some sort of concessions and stuff under the stands, but right now there's nothing under there. Now up here, this is the start-finish line. Let me go ahead and show you the flag stand. There's something kind of cool up here too. Let's go ahead and get our lift out, and we're going to pop up to the top. Let's go ahead and pop up here. There we go. So yeah, this is the flag stand. You got your flagger would stand up here. He also has access to the caution light button, so we can flick that on. You can see actually somewhat of the light that's appeared. Let's go ahead and hop off here. I would like it to where this would work all the way around the track, but I have to keep the track split because of the bounciness of the concrete, which by the way, it's still pretty bouncy, so I'm looking for more solutions to fix that. But yeah, you have the caution lights here on the front stretch. Alright, now you're probably wondering about the catch fence here. We have the catch fence on the front stretch, the back stretch. There is no catch fence in the corner. Now, if you're wondering what the catch fence is, it's this fence up here. It keeps cars from basically entering where they shouldn't go, especially in front of grandstands. You don't want that. That's a very bad situation. Now, I don't have them in the corner for two reasons. I don't think they're necessary, and the whole fact of they are fences, and to make them go around this corner, you would have to have a ton of bearings to curve them around it, and that would be very awkward to do. So I believe I'm just going to have the catch fence on the front stretch, the back stretch, and on the inside wall of the back stretch. Now let's go ahead and walk back here. As far as the track shape, it is like an oval, but I would say it's a little bit more unique. The outside wall is a little further away in the corners, and the corner, kind of like, I would say kind of like a track like Indianapolis, has a flat section in it. it's not perfectly curved. Right about here, it's almost like a mini short chute, is right about here where you can see the walls are flat, and then it starts to curve back in to the front stretch. So you got to be careful about how you drive it. Of course, it really doesn't matter here in Scrap Mechanic. It's not the most realistic driving, but I thought adding little touches like that to the track to try to make it unique was pretty good. Now over here you can see the back stretch. Here's the grandstands back here. Nothing really special, they're just shorter grandstands. Here is the entrance to pit road. The pit road entrance is over here. The exit is actually on the front stretch. Over here, this is the commitment line. If you're coming down pit road, you need to be on this line, and this is where normally a cone would go, but since it's a short track, it's kind of in the middle, so you have to kind of hit this line to say, yes, I'm going to pit road here. So you've got that. There's the pit road lights there. Let's go ahead and walk down the backstretch. Now you are seeing these cuts. I have cut the track up as much as possible, and I've added these wedge pieces. That way it looks like they're still connected, but this track is in many parts, and that's because of, for whatever reason, when you drive cars on something that's concrete and it's really big, it gets very bouncy, and we're going to talk about that a bit here in a second. Here is the exit of pit road. Now, there is no wall on the inside here. This is the apron. So when you come off of pit road, you want to stay on the apron, don't cross the yellow line, and you would get back on the track safely over here. Okay, on to the cars. Now do keep in mind, these are a work in progress. There will be several versions of these that come out. The more I learn about how I want these things to handle around this track. Now I knew this was going to be one of the biggest challenges of this track was the cars themselves, because anybody that's played Scrap Mechanic knows that for some reason the concrete is bumpy. It doesn't look like it, but most vehicles that you get on concrete, they bounce around. And it's definitely, it's posing a big challenge with these cars. Now we've tried several things. Of course, I've cut up the track. That's helped a little bit. But we've tried several things with the cars. Now we've tried everything from suspension, no suspension, gas suspension. And the best thing that I've figured out is having the stock suspension piece on and also having, yes folks, those are thrusters. Having thrusters on this car actually helps, and those thrusters are all aiming down. They are activated with the W key as you drive around, and that helps pin the car down to the track. It does look admittedly a little odd, but thankfully Durf has these mini thrusters, these little square pieces here, and I can blend them into the car. So if you're standing back here, you can't even tell that there's thrusters on the front of it. So it does work. It's just going to take a little bit more tuning to kind of figure out exactly what I want out of it before I'm actually happy. Now, as far as the way the cars look, there is only one type of stock car right now. We will move on and probably do several different types of maybe manufacturers and possibly even something like the trucks that they run. So I'm really actually pretty happy with the way these came out. I think they look fantastic, actually. There's a couple things that I'm probably still going to change. If there's anything you guys noticed, go ahead and comment below and let me know. I don't have numbers on these yet, so I'm going to have to figure out how I want to do those, because when you paint numbers on them, of course you're painting by the block, and it's a little awkward looking, so not really sure what we're going to do there. But I've painted up quite a few here for this video. Some of these might look a little familiar to you if you do watch any NASCAR, if you used to watch it, or whatever the case may be. You might notice a couple of these cars. So yeah, it is time to take one of these out onto the track and show you guys exactly how this is going to work. Now, I am, of course, like I said, going to leave these up for download, and I will leave the cars in one version, so if you and your friends want to come in here and have a race, you're more than welcome to do that. Just keep in mind you will need the Durf mod, which I will also link down in the description. So yeah, let's go ahead and drive one of these bad boys around. Alright, we are ready to run some laps here. Man, I really need to throw a number 3 on the side of this. It kind of looks a little bit like Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s paint scheme. So yeah, we're going to pull off pit road here. There is 16 pit stalls. So on the final version of this track, there will be 16 cars. So let's go ahead and pull out here. Now keep in mind when you come off pit road, please don't be that guy. Stay below the yellow line. Do not run up on the track. There could be cars on the track and you don't want to be that person. So let's go ahead and pull onto the track here. Now, we're not going to be running NASCAR speeds. We are running relatively fast, but you do see the little bit of jerkiness that's going on. Now, the thrusters do a fantastic job of keeping this car on the ground. If those were not active, this thing probably would have already flipped by now. Now, we can adjust the engine a little bit. You could probably get away with going one more up on it, but until I figure out a permanent solution for the bumpiness, this is about as fast as I like it because it's comfortable, and I think this would be pretty raceable with other people. Now, one really great thing about these cars, they do not lag when they hit each other, and that's always a problem in a lot of multiplayer races and stuff like that. You have cars that as soon as they get close to each other, it just crashes the whole game, but these do not do that, and that was one of my goals with this car. That way you guys can run nose to tail, side by side, beating and banging. Definitely really awesome. So yeah, I've got really big plans for this, and I'm super excited for this build, and I'm just having fun cruising around here. But say it is that time, say the caution flags come out, or it's time to make some green flag pit stops. We're going to pull down here on the back stretch. Be sure to hit your commitment line right there, enter in pit road, and you can swing around here. So we'll go this way. Now over to the left, that's the entrance to the garage. Of course, you see the actual garages back there. There's 16 of those. There's nothing in them right now, but I do want to put some equipment. I also want to put some pit equipment up here too. Alright, so the crew's done with their service. We're going to peel out of our pit stall. I'll probably paint some burnout marks there. And we're going to shoot back out on the track. Also, do want to thank Mr. Akron Games. You do see a pace car there, or a safety car, whatever you want to call it. It's got its flashing lights on top. You could always play a multiplayer session and have somebody lead around in that. I think that would be kind of cool. Also on the infield, you do see the ambulance from the town, the tow truck from the town, and I've started a victory lane. I'm not going to really show that yet until I'm actually complete with it. But yeah, that's going to about do it here. We're going to pull back around to the front stretch, and we are going to wrap this episode up here today, guys. There we go. Alright, I take a little pit stop there. Now, the last thing we're going to look at just real quick, I do want to look at the pace car because Akron Games, like I said, did design this. This will be available on his workshop. I will link it in the description. I actually think it looks pretty sweet. You can go into here. You can activate the lights on and off. It's got the lights, say if we're in a night race or something. A lot of times they're on the headlights. And then you've got the caution lights that would come on or I guess you can say these are like the pace lights. Would come on, and you can lead the field around, which I think would be pretty awesome. So all NASCARs, they run rolling starts, so you'll have them 2x2 behind you, and they do the same thing with the restarts. So you can have this vehicle here to lead you around. This one takes the bumps actually pretty well too. It's fairly fast. I don't think the pace car probably wouldn't be running this fast around the track. They normally run right at pit road speed, which for a track this size would probably be right around 35 miles an hour if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, definitely a pretty cool little pace car. Let's go ahead and set this back and wrap this episode up. But hopefully you enjoyed this episode today. Remember, download links are in the description. If you have any ideas for scrap mechanic builds, for this build, for the Monster Jam build, anything, just comment below, let me know. I kind of just feed off your guys' suggestions because that's where I think of new things, and I kind of figure out what you guys want to see here in Scrap Mechanic. Now, do keep in mind, we do have a new game coming to the channel tomorrow, so if you'd like to check that out, it's something you guys have been requesting for quite a while now. But anyways, folks, have a good rest of your day, and we will see you guys next time in Scrap Mechanic. Thank you!